Good morning, good morning, good morning. Excuse me for that outburst. But today is just another good day where the light is shining. The people are ripping and running. Crackheads are cracking. And cokeheads are coking. And the spring air is starting to release its pollen while everybody's walking around with drippy eyes and runny noses. I want to thank again all my listeners, my supporters, those who tune in on the podcast, those who view the videos on YouTube, those who respond to the email, those who suggest, and those who like, comment, and all that good stuff. I appreciate it all. But I don't want to hold you guys up. I plan on getting into the topic of boxing. For those who watch boxing, those who enjoy boxing, those who have boxed, those who practice an art form of extracurricular activity, I truly encourage getting 60 minutes a day of exercise, whether that's doing yoga, which is high intensity yoga, not that soft, sissified, fat, chubby girl yoga, or doing something as far as getting up out of the chair instead of watching TV. Anyway, in the sport of boxing, I've had the recent interest in the sport. I would say within the past 2 years, and I've been watching heavily with the heavyweights with Wilder and Joshua. Of course, watching some of the other guys, Parker, and going down to the lower weight classes with Charlo and Lomachenko and Davis and Broner and things of that nature. Of course, I'm naming a lot of guys who are relevant in the sport and also are big names in the sport. But there are other boxers who you need to keep an eye on. Ryan Garcia, Danny Garcia, Lomachenko, who's not a lower level guy. He's a superstar. It's just not well known as far as being publicized like that. But anyway, these guys are certified, therefore their hands are dangerous. If you ever catch one of these guys in the communities where you're in the city as far as with them, tell them they're doing a good job and just pray that you don't piss anybody off to get cross hooked in the face. So to get into what I wanted to talk about was the upcoming card that's being promoted by Mayweather Promotions and TGT with the Tank Davis, who I'll be rooting for, the Vargas and Broner fight, the Charlo fight. Not to get into any more specific names, but my peak interest is with Adrian Broner and Jessie Vargas. Now, of course, everyone knows who Adrian Broner is. He's about billions. He was once the self-proclaimed Floyd Mayweather replacement once Floyd decided to retire. Prior to his Maidana fight, he had 4 world champion belts on him, and I think it was in the 147 weight class, welterweight, I believe. I mean, this dude was certified chin checker, tooth chipper, and he was he was definitely the up and coming star. But then he had a downfall where he suffered. It was an unprecedented beatdown. Even though I don't believe it was a 100% beatdown, he won. I gave him 5 rounds that he won, but he ended up losing the entire fight. But that was in the Maidana fight. I am not talking about the Porter or the Garcia fights. So with Jessie Vargas and Adrian Broner, their fight is to commence on the 21st of April. And so I had 3 things I wanted to get into with both fighters. And I'm going to go with the lesser of the 2 evils. I'm going to go with Jessie Vargas. I watched Jessie Vargas fight Manny Pacquiao. And of course, Manny Pacquiao is one of the greatest fighters of all time who will go down in the Hall of Fame, no questions asked. And I love his political stance and his religious affiliations. That's one thing I've kind of stayed in tune with when it comes down to Pac. Now, watching Jessie Vargas weight up in those classes to fight Maidana. Not Maidana, but Manny Pacquiao. I enjoyed watching him get up there, stand toe-to-toe. He held his own, even though he lost both of those fights when he weighted up. I believe he did a fantastic job. He's a solid fighter. You know, there's a boxing chant or a saying. Every boxer or everybody has a puncher's chance. Meaning, you can get knocked out by the littlest person with the slowest skills. I mean, you know, with slow speed and worse skills. Or you can get knocked out by the biggest boxer who has the quickest speed. It doesn't matter. Everybody has your ticket. It's up to you to prevent that ticket from being punched. Now, that's one of the things I wanted to note with Vargas. Vargas is a straight up boxer. And he's held his own when he weighted up. So this weight class, he has weighted up again to fight Broner. Now, the second thing I wanted to get on with Vargas is very mature. I've never seen Vargas mentally rattled. I've seen him lose fights. I've seen all boxers lose fights, besides one who went 50-0. But by these boxers, they usually break down mentally before they'll break down physically. I haven't seen Jessie Vargas mentally break down, which is why I give him a point in the category of possibly upsetting Broner. Thirdly, Garcia is not as predictable as people like to say. I've seen him strap with the best, and I've seen how maybe 3 rounds he worked the jab to the shoulder midsection. A couple more rounds, I see him do a little bit more, getting on the bicycle, pedaling around, being defensive. Then I see him engage, come, and every time it's something different. He's never been the same in any fight. Now, I'm going to end that one with Vargas. And then I'm going to go with the guy who has everything to lose, and he has everything to gain in this fight. And this is what I mean when I say that. Adrian Broner, I believe if he loses this fight, this will be the end for him. You will start to slowly see people no longer take his fights, no one take him serious, and he will start to be I will start to see him as a stepping stone in the weight class. Now, the one thing before I do all three, the one thing I want to point out about Broner is that mouth of his. That man got a mouth on him. The can man, any man can get it. I'm like, listen, bro, that's all well and fine. I appreciate the competitiveness when it comes down to it, the competitiveness, if that's even a word. But his showboating and his mouth is what's going to get him in a lot of trouble, because it has before. Now, number one that I want to point out with Broner. One, Broner has too many out of the ring, off scene antics. Was getting in trouble with rappers, getting into this dick measuring contest, excuse my language for my younger viewers, getting into these measurement contests where he is supposedly going up against these people who are only trying to get inside his head. Two, this guy's mentally weak. He's mentally weak. I've seen, but before the Maidana fight, I noticed that he was cocky, he was arrogant, exactly the way he is now. But one thing that has changed since the Maidana fight is his assertiveness inside of the ring. He's still the same person outside of the ring, but inside of the ring, he's a little different. He's a little bit more cautious. He's not willing to take any risks. Some people say he's not willing to throw the hands. He's not willing to let his hands go. He's too busy trying to rap and all these other things, and he's not focusing on his craft. Granted, I'm not saying focusing on rap is going to make you less of a fighter. What I'm saying is focus on the 1099. Focus on your job that pays the bills. Then you can do everything else that suits your fancy. So that's the second thing. He's not mentally sound. After the Maidana fight, he was changed. Lastly, I've seen Broner hang around people who don't have his best interest at heart. And what I mean by best interest at heart, I mean, honestly, when you get around people who tell you one thing, but they do another, it's time for you to stop standing around them. And I actually give him a point for this, because during his most recent press conference, if you haven't seen the press conference, you need to go get on YouTube and watch the Adrian Broner, Jessie Vargas press conference. Broner called out the president of Mayweather Promotions. All right, and it did get a bit chippy. It got uncomfortably chippy, and I felt like he was really reaching real hard. But then he had a real moment where he was cussing guys out, like, man, you ain't with me. You haven't supported me. You never came to. I mean, you guys, if you're not with me, then by definition you are against me. And so I'm going to treat everyone as if that. And so all these antics that he does out of the ring, they affect him. But at least he has the ability to call people out. And I say that's good. But now he has one more person he needs to call out, and that's himself. And one thing I know about people who walk around with chips on their shoulders, they often succeed because they give all their energy to proving people wrong, And then, of course, I get into the habit of watching more of the press conference and more of the interview. And he's like, oh, all the cameras are in my face. You guys, everybody's doubting me out. I hope everybody giving me my credit when I beat him. I'm like, man, look, man, this dude Jessie Vargas ain't no lay down. He ain't no punk. I'll be surprised if Broner comes out and actually knocks him out. But I believe it's going to go the full rounds. I plan on watching and being attentive to the video. To the fight. I plan on buying it. Of course, I'm going to watch it. I don't give a hoot nanny about it. Hopefully somebody can hook me up on Facebook Live and just buy the fight and then just watch it, and they put it on live. I'm not going to give you the formula of how to do that, but don't play any music or don't play any sound. All you got to do is just... Anyway, I'm not going to get into it. But I would definitely like to see competition in this Adrian Broner and Vargas fight. And just to end it on a more positive note, the boxing is starting to come back. Boxing took a big hiatus when Tyson finished up his career. You had a whole drift, had a whole lot of people really not being interested in boxing, But now all these superstars and these young athletes are coming out. Those who are looking for the boxing world to reignite the sports industry. It will, and it has, and it's never left. Now it's getting the light that it should, and of course it has Mayweather spearhead and everything. And honestly, that's something else for another conversation or another topic on another date, with Mayweather potentially getting into the octagon. But let me know what you think in the comment sections below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. For those who are listening in, you can get my email off the website. You can get my email off the YouTube description box. Make sure you comment, suggest new things that we can discuss, and most of all, enjoy the rest of your day and take it easy. It's Friday, baby. Thank God it's Friday.